What stopped you from committing suicide? Not wanting to commit suicide in the first place. Getting arrested. I was afraid of feeling pain as my bones break while falling 30 stories. I was afraid of suffocating during a failed hanging attempt. I was afraid of feeling pain while overdosing on my antidepressants. Most of all, I was afraid of betraying my mother who stood by me all this time. Edit, guided it mime famous. Thank you the awards and the kind words. I'm doing good been on medication for a few years and doing my degree slowly moving on with life. Life is too good to commit suicide. The love of my life. The knowledge that I've gotten through every one of my worst days ever so far. My internet friends would be sad if I never logged back in, and there's no way they'd ever know. Also, I was like 14 at the time and got past it. I was on thought then I realized if I committed suicide I would show weakness to others, make my family members have another tragedy, and those who would like to see me fall they would. One life requires fighting, and everyone is a fighter in their story, either weak or strong, beautiful or ugly, stupid or genius. You have to fight for yourself and yourself succeed. I want to live. It's that simple. True that. My wife and son still need me, so here I am. The thought of leaving my nephew behind, when I've been the only consistent male figure in his life. His biological father wants absolutely nothing to do with him, and none of my sister's boyfriends have been a positive or long-lasting figure for him. On the rare occasions that I've found myself in that dark of a point in my life, that little dude has kept me here. Edit, thank you, kind strangers, for the kind comments and awards. You all are amazing. Heart. I want to be brave. I want to be able to say to myself that I never ever lost. Also, it's not worth it to die. If I had died I would have missed out on so much good life that I have now. Even a gorgeous sunset is worth staying another day for. Also, secondly, if you shoot yourself or something, you will be the talk of the imps and known as the guy that killed himself for a few days. Until you are forgotten. Then the cops will go through your phone. I would rather live than have that happen. Smiley face, embarrassed smiley face. I'm my grandmother's favorite grandchild and do not want to put her through that. Grandparents a blessing. My grandmother is the only grandparent that I have now, the rest of them passed away. My wife, but she's leaving me tomorrow. So we'll see. Wandering in. Found it a few years ago after reading amateur stories on Royal Road. I still read every chapter release. Also although it's nearing its end, but the stories they tell gave me a reason to look forward to the next day. Dogs. I was watching my brother's dogs whilst he was on holiday. I was sat at the bottom of the stairs spiraling, and they came over and placed their heads on each one of my feet and just kept looking up at me from under their eyelids for around an hour. My son, and knowing that he needed me more than I needed to not be here anymore. Edit, wow, thank you all so much for the support and awards. One Piece. If I ever had the want to take my own life, I'd rather spend it taking out those who caused it to be bad. Deleted. Fear. Guilt over the mess. It saved me for years. The EMS unit that showed up. My daughter and the baby in my belly at the time. Mom is still alive. Mothers shouldn't see their kids die. A coin flip. Literally. Deleted. I don't know. I used to say stubbornness, but I can't pin it down to that. I was 17, had the barrel of my rifle in my mouth, I was ready. Maybe it was guilt, because of the aftermath I'd leave behind. Maybe it was divine intervention. Maybe it was stubbornness. I can't answer this question with any certainty. I just know, I'm 52 now, but I still remember that day all too clearly. Maybe, it just wasn't my time, plain and simple. My daughter. My wife. She talked me off a cliff. My wife is what is currently stopping another attempt. She is the single best part of my shitty life, but even a single light can hold darkness at bay. As for my 2 attempts, the first one got stopped by a teacher. I attempted to hang myself at school with a rope we got from an assembly. Don't know why you would give kids ropes. A student saw and told a teacher who cut me down. The second one I tried to odd on pills I'm not even sure would kill you. Instead I got really sick and puked it all out. My sister, we don't have a great relationship but still. The worst part is, her reason for not committing is the exact same. Seriously, South Park. Was depressed as shit in a hotel room, on Christmas Eve. Decided fuck it, enough is enough. It was a random episode they did where Stan was being a bitch about everything. It made sense, I laughed, and decided as long as I can laugh, life ain't so bad. Hazelden. The belt came undone before it could do its job and I fell. Wearing it right now. My dog, every possible method I think of could harm or impact my dog and I love her too much to allow that to happen. Cinnabon. Was listening to Pandora and in my moment of serious consideration, Wheels by Foo Fighters started playing. It was an intensely profound moment. The robe broke. A love for my parents. Good friend listening. 20 years later I still have a tough time saying thank you enough because there's no words to say how grateful I am. I didn't know how to tie a knot. It was also with a little piece of string. I wasn't a smart boy. So glad I wasn't too. My life is so much better now. An air duct, I was on my way and an air duct broke my fall. A huge part of it was losing somebody to suicide and experiencing the grief of knowing that their death was so final, that all my love and remorse and sorrow could never bring them back. It's not a feeling I can ever describe. They were just suddenly gone. Losing a loved one has become my greatest fear since then. That shit carves your lungs out. I didn't want to put anyone through that, so I stuck around long enough to change for the better. Once I decided to live I saw there was hope, and years of knowing nothing but emptiness and loneliness and pain gave way to healing. It still crosses my mind from time to time, but I don't think I'll be back in depresso soup anytime soon. Smile. My lack of courage to do it. Over time I just started feeling better there. Hope guys, anyone who is in a shit place and just pull through, trust me it'll be okay, you will be happy again someday. Dog. I still think about it now. I'm too much of a pussy to do it. Youth detention centers mess you up. My friends ditched me when I got out. No friend and nobody to live me, so I live. A sh1t load of therapy is the reason I'm still here. As I said, I'm too much of a pussy to slit my own throat and take it like a man. My brother. He found me passed out drunk like an idiot behind the wheel of the running car and I was so drunk I didn't even get the garage open. Didn't I realize I could have died? Thing is, how much love and caring he showed for me in that time he dragged me out made me realize how lucky I was, and how much pain I would have caused him and the rest of the family, and just how much at least one person loved me. He saved my life in all the ways. Lack of anatomical knowledge. 13-year-old me did not know which direction to cut the veins, so I bled but not enough. I'm not so sure anymore. I guess just my body's general instinct to not be dead. Needed to feed my cat. What I was going through wasn't the train driver's fault, so I couldn't saddle him with that crap. I can't leave my cat alone in this world. Dante's Inferno. I done wanna be a tree/s. Never have thought about it, honestly. Island Boy. I heard it and knew there was worse in life than myself. A thought about my mom. I'm terrified of living and growing old, but I'm more terrified of dying, because now that I've existed, I don't want to go back to not knowing what existence really is, and to not remembering anything but nothingness for centuries that will pass without me even realizing it, or ever seeing it. The thought of a bare void, with no feeling, no thought, no senses and no passage of time is more horrific than my life can ever be. Narcissism. I've also definitely got some people that would be exiting before I do. Many failed attempts. Even when I fully committed, it was never enough. But now my dog keeps me going. Can't try again till she's gone. Music, and dedicating my life to it. Wellbutrin. Before I started taking it, I had a plan and fully intended on doing it when my lease renewed in June. I had no one I wanted to continue living for and hated how my life turned out. I still have thoughts of it occasionally, but they don't send me spiraling like they used to. My own body, I vomited the whole damn stuff out like a fountain. The extension cord broke. I took somewhere north of 30 doses of Ambien, not sure how many. I'd been saving them up. I woke up in the hospital and the psych shamed me for not thinking more about my son and my dog.